Thanks. Thank you. Thank you, Dennis, and thank you, Galveston Art Center. I appreciate the invite. I I confessed to somebody. I don't remember who it was. I've been coming here for years. The My brother owns a place down the road, and I'm a contemporary artist, and so when we roll into town, I'm always looking for that place, right? Like where you go and you can like kind of like recharge your batteries, and this is the place. Like this place is extraordinary in this region. Anyway, this is an incredible building, and it's an incredible facility, and I've seen a lot of really interesting and important exhibitions here, and so I'm really grateful for the invite. Thank you, Dennis, and Galveston Art Center for and all those that made this possible. I mean, this is really exciting. Thank you. So when Dennis floated this idea, can I take this off there a little bit? Yeah. So when Dennis floated this idea of the Galveston wolves, the ghost wolves, I was like, wow, that's an incredible idea. Like, I mean, I had already, animals are kind of my thing. Like, I've been doing this for years and years and years for a lot of different reasons, and to have like an opportunity to do things that were thematic to the place, right? Like I've done residencies before, and you always respond to the space, right? But to respond to the idea that a species was, in a sense, kind of gone, and then like a resurgence of that species back in a certain area was really exciting for me. And I love the idea of using that opportunity to do all these paintings behind me, and those big paintings over there on the far right side. And that's some of the newer work. But so anyway, the title of the exhibit is "The Dance of the Ghost Wolves," Baile de los Lobos Fantasmas. I love that word, fantasmas. But it's just this idea that a species of coyote here has a certain quantum genetic connection to red wolves, right? Right. That were prominent in North America for a long time, and then disappeared for a lot of different reasons why I won't go into. But the reason why I use animals in a lot of my work is because they've been used in classic Romantic and Grecian and Roman art for 1,000 years. And I'm attracted to this idea that the deities, the gods, were constantly turning themselves into animals to connect with human beings. And as an artist and a conceptual artist, I think about like the reasons why, right? Like we were always, trying to figure out and understand the world around us, right? And they were behaving badly, and they were behaving appropriately, but they mostly behaving badly. And it was a way for us to kind of explain what we do as human beings. And so a lot of what I do using animals as surrogates for human beings is a way to kind of talk about the human condition. So the piece right over here by Dennis is Callisto and Archaeus, and it's a long, drawn-out story, but I love the idea of like Callisto being the lover of Zeus, and Archaeus the love child of Callisto being hunting his mom. And so Zeus, in his infinite wisdom, puts Callisto and Arceus up in the night sky. So Ursa Major and Ursa Minor are the bears, right, of Zeus. And so, and then there's, because I'm Catholic, you have, and my middle name is Anthony, you have the story of St. Anthony talking to the fish. And so here you got the St. Anthony talking to the fish on the right side, and then you've got the whale on the far left side, and it's like a nod to Inuit traditions. So I'm not stuck in my own tradition, I guess. So I morph and move from tradition to tradition, story to story. The more I travel, the more I understand that there's this connectivity that happens between like my culture and other cultures. And so like I'm really interested in the bountiful kind of space in which these animals and concepts sort of originate. And I'm always trying to like connect those points of understanding. Right over there, there's always this joke, like the white buffalo. Every year, right, or every other year, a white buffalo is born to the native community, and I think the title of that piece is "This is not the sign you're looking for." And again, the native people is like it's just sometimes a buffalo is just a buffalo, and so I love that idea of that thing. Like sometimes is really, really spiritual and really meaningful, but then sometimes it's just a buffalo, right? And just a little bit about the pieces behind me real quickly. I mean, I'm an artist and art historian, so I was looking at a lot of Van Dyck and a lot of these kind of elevated paintings of Dutch aristocrats, and they're always like painted with these collars, right? These like collars that were a symbol of their status, and so all of the floral and fauna, or particularly the floral, are regional plants. So I was doing some research on some manzanilla, some Turk's cap, and some other things that are like regional to this area. Does anybody have any questions? The dentist is talking about, or in a sense, trying to reference the idea of constellations. I reference constellations constantly, and I'm enamored with the idea that our fortune or misfortune is sort of set in stone by when we're born, right? And this is not exclusive to my culture. I mean, throughout lots and lots of cultures throughout time, that was like a thing. Like it's important. Like we don't really think about it right now, but and it's not a specific constellation, right? But it's the idea of me rebooting constellations that I'm making, in a sense. So for years I've been making constellations. I make constellations of animals, cars. The cars, like inanimate objects, what have you. But like, I love the idea of like using. Well, nowadays, I mean, everything's LED. This is all like kind of low tech, like light bulbs, and like not even like fancy light bulbs. And I think that's interesting. The idea of like kind of creating a new set of constellations that will like go forward and affect our fortune. So yeah, those two images for sure with the lights. I'm constantly doing that stuff. Yeah, and really with the owls over here too, I was like kind of thinking that same thing, but I didn't put light bulbs in there. But the stars, which are are references to the blooms of cactus. They're cactus blooms that look like stars that kind of look a little like UFOs, or maybe, like I'm thinking about Marfa, Marfa lights, what have you. But it's kind of like that kind of thing too, that sort of floats in space. This spiral jetty, Fibonacci kind of shape that sort of floats in space, that is echoed in the flower, but it's also echoed in space. Like there's all this interconnectedness that I'm really interested in. So. Okay, so real quickly, the paintings are made with the same tool that I use to create the prints. The prints are the work that's on paper. And the process of going through printmaking is you make a block, just like the rubbing station. You ink it, you put paper on it, and you run it through a press, through pressure. And then you have an imprint, right? The paintings are made with the same process of carving after the oil painting process happens. So the oil painting, like on the front painting and all the ones with lights and all the ones on the side, the ones that aren't in frames, those are all oil paintings that have been carved after the oil painting dries. So you have an opportunity to like rub on a block, I'll just call it a block, that in a sense is exactly like the object prior to inking, prior to making the print. Cool? Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming.